Welcome to CX Labs, a digitally irresistible podcast brought to you by iQor. We cover the latest CX practices, including performance optimization, technology trends, employee experience, industry developments, and success factors to inspire great CX for your brand. And now, here's today's episode.
Welcome to the Digitally Irresistible podcast, a CX Labs episode. I'm your host, Celeste Roberts. Joining me today is Tarisse Grant-Shelton. Welcome, Tarisse.
Thank you, Celeste. Thanks for having me today.
I'm really happy to have you here. Tarisse, you are the Senior Manager of Active Learning Training at iQor. Can you tell us a little bit more about your role and everything you do?
Sure. So I have been with iQor for 19 years. I have worked in pretty much every facet of training that you can think of. So when I was asked to step into this role, I was over the moon excited, because essentially what I do is I help trainers become the best versions of themselves. The active learning classroom essentially brings in experiential learning and a little bit of differentiated learning so that the agents or the participants in the classroom are able to get out to production or wherever they're going to go and just be turnkey. They feel confident, they feel comfortable, and they are ready to perform for our clients. So that's essentially what I do. I also help trainers with surveys. I help them with NPS scores. I help them with coaching and development. And I also hold a monthly Noodle Cafe, which provides them with more information about the training industry so that they can take that and use that in their classroom as well.
So today, Tarisse, I am very, very excited to talk with you about how iQor is committed to training best practices so our frontline employees get onboarded quickly, get to the production floor of service delivery, and provide excellent customer experiences. Let's explore what training at iQor looks like for frontline employees.
All right. So the frontline employees are trained by highly skilled trainers. We utilize what we call the active learning classroom approach, where we don't do a lot of passive learning in the classroom. The learners are actually going and they are doing. They are applying things given the guidance of their trainer. They are doing a lot of trial, because what the facilitator does is the facilitator sets up a safe space in the classroom, and it allows them to, it gives a structured approach so that the learners are able to practice things in the classroom so that they are ready to get out to the floor and just deliver just world-class customer service right away. The trainers can't just wake up and do this, as easy as that sounds. They go through an immense amount of training. They go through the active learning classroom workshop, which consists of a primer, which is the pre-work where they get the direct instruction, the actual workshop, which is 3 days, and it's directed by a facilitator where the trainers learn from each other. They are able to put their skills into practice, and then they do a practicum, which can last anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks, where they are actually putting into practice all of the things that they've learned from the workshop and from their peers. And then that way the information doesn't go into cold storage. They're able to apply it right away. They're able to take that information, teach a class, work on things, get coached, get developed so that they feel good and everything becomes second nature. And the things that go on in the classroom don't feel forced. They feel natural for our agents and our frontline employees.
Excellent. So let's explore also how training has evolved at iQor for our frontline employees.
That's a great question, Celeste. I love seeing the evolution of training, because we're really centered and focused on ensuring that our trainers have the most up-to-date experiences as far as the training industry is concerned. So whereas before our trainers may have been a little bit more passive, where they are what we call the sage on the stage, and all of the information is coming from the trainer, and the learners go and they do, and they may or may not get it, and the trainer will do everything that they can to ensure that everybody is brought up to speed before they go out into production. Now we are able to use the active learning approach, which is, it's a world-class approach. A lot of industries use this, but I believe that we perfected. And the trainers are able to provide information for the learners so that the learners are put in a position where they feel empowered in the classroom, they take charge of their own learning. And studies show that when learners take charge of their own learning, they actually learn a lot more. And so that allows them to go into production a lot more quickly with a lot more confidence. And they're able to provide that world-class customer service that we are looking for.
Excellent. So related to that, what are some positive results that our clients have experienced correlated to the training through the active learning classroom?
That's also another great question. Part of my responsibility as the active learning classroom manager, senior manager, is that I am also responsible for pulling NPS scores. So I get to see the Net Promoter Scores for all of the trainers globally. And that's about 400 or so trainers globally. And you can really tell in the NPS scores how much we have progressed when we use active learning approaches. You can see the verbatim responses that come from the agents, and they say, I love that we get to do things that are hands-on. I love that we're able to apply things. I feel more prepared for nesting. As opposed to when we use a more passive learning approach, I wish we had more hands-on. I wish we had more practice, or even I wish the training were longer. When you're using an active learning approach, you don't feel like you need longer training because you've already done all of the things that you need to do in order to practice so that you feel ready when you go out to the floor. So I think that's our biggest win.
Awesome. That is a great win. Thank you for sharing that, Tarisse. Tarisse, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the Digitally Irresistible podcast, a CX Labs episode. Listeners, be sure to visit iQor.com/capabilities/award-winning training to learn more about our training programs. If you're watching this on video, that's scrolling right at the bottom. And if you're listening to this episode, head on over to the show notes to access that link.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe to the Digitally Irresistible podcast on your favorite podcast player or on the iQor YouTube channel so you never miss a future episode.